The date is August 18th, 2026. New York City. The U.S. Open is just days away, and the tennis world is buzzing with anticipation. Alexandra Eala, the 21-year-old Filipina sensation, has just arrived in the Big Apple. She hasn't hit a single ball at the U.S. Open yet. She hasn't played a point. She hasn't even stepped onto the practice courts at Flushing Meadows. And yet, she has already achieved something that even Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, and Aryna Sabalenka couldn't match. Nike released a $42 black T-shirt bearing her name. Within minutes, it was completely sold out. Meanwhile, the merchandise of Alcaraz, Sinner, and Sabalenka remained available on Nike's website. The tennis world is stunned. How could a 21-year-old from the Philippines outsell the biggest stars in tennis? How could her merchandise vanish in minutes while the world's top players' shirts still sat on shelves? This is the story of that shocking moment. This is the story of the Eala effect that has taken the tennis world by storm. This is the story of how Alexandra Eala proved that she is not just a tennis player. She is a global phenomenon. Face screaming in fear, Philippines. Before the sold-out shirt, before the Nike release, there was the rise. And what a rise it had been. Alexandra Eala's journey to becoming one of the most marketable athletes in the world was nothing short of spectacular. She had started the year ranked outside the top 40, a promising young player from a country with virtually no tennis infrastructure. By August 2026, she had climbed to a career-high number 18 in the world. She had won her first WTA Tour singles title in Washington, defeating world number 3 Jessica Pegula in a thrilling rain-delayed final. The victory had made her the first Filipino, man or woman, to win a WTA Tour singles event. Her run in Washington was a fairy tale. She defeated Olympic gold medalist Zheng Qinwen, defending champion Leylah Fernandez, world number 10 Alina Svitolina, and four-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka en route to the final. Then came the final against Pegula. The match was suspended by rain, but when play resumed, Alexandra won 6 straight games in the final set to secure a 4-6, 6-4, 6-0 victory. The win marked her 7th victory over a top 10 player that season. The Philippines erupted. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. congratulated her. The Senate honored her. Senator Panfilo Lacson called her the country's newest and youngest national hero. But Alexandra didn't stop there. At Wimbledon, she made history once again. She became the first Filipina-seeded player in Grand Slam history, the first Filipina to win a match at Wimbledon, and the first to reach the 3rd and 4th rounds of a major. She defeated defending champion Iga Swiatek on center court 7-6, 11-9, 6-2, a victory that drew reactions from Catherine, Princess of Wales, Billie Jean King, Venus Williams, and her super idol Maria Sharapova. The win propelled her to a new career-high ranking. She eventually fell to Jasmine Paolini in the 4th round, but her Wimbledon run had already cemented her status as one of the brightest young stars in tennis. In just a few months, Alexandra had gone from a promising junior to a global phenomenon. She had sold out stadiums in Toronto and Cincinnati. She had become the biggest draw in women's tennis, perhaps in all of tennis. According to industry estimates, she was now targeting approximately $10 million per year in sponsorship income. She had already secured deals with major global brands including Nike, Babolat, Globe Telecom, Bank of the Philippine Islands, Milo Philippines, Locally Juice, and most recently, Marriott Bonvoy. Her commercial potential was reminiscent of the Emma Raducanu effect after her U.S. Open victory in 2021. But Alexandra's reach was even more global. She represented a nation of 115 million people and a massive diaspora spread across the world. The Eala effect was real, and Nike had just witnessed it firsthand. The moment the shirt went live on Nike's website, something extraordinary happened. Within minutes of its release, the black Nike Court Alex Eala tennis t-shirt was completely sold out. The shirt, priced at $42, featured floral accents on the front and Alexandra's name across the back. Alexandra herself took to Instagram to share the news with her 1.8 million followers. "I have my own shirt. You know what to do." Her fans clearly understood the assignment. Tennis and fashion writer Jessica Schiffer reported the astonishing news. Nike's new $42 black Nike Court Alex Eala tennis t-shirt had already sold out. What made Schiffer's observation particularly striking was the company Alexandra was keeping. Schiffer noted that Nike's other newly released player merchandise remained available, and she later identified those players as Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, and Aryna Sabalenka. When a follower asked whether Alexandra's shirt had actually sold out or whether its disappearance was merely based on availability on Nike's US website, Schiffer was unequivocal. Yes, it sold out, but they may restock. The comparison was staggering. Alexandra, a player who had not yet won a Grand Slam, had outsold the merchandise of the world's top players. Alcaraz, the two-time Grand Slam champion and former world number one. Sinner, the Australian Open champion and current world number one. Sabalenka, the four-time Grand Slam champion and current world number one. Their shirts remained available on Nike's website. Alexandra's was gone within minutes. The tennis world was stunned. The Eala effect was not just real, it was unprecedented. The shirt itself was unmistakably hers. A subtle Nike floral design appeared on the front, while the back featured Alex Eala in script surrounded by floral artwork, a swoosh, and the company's famous "Just Do It" slogan. By Wednesday afternoon, Nike's women's tennis storefront listed the shirt as "coming soon," potentially signaling another opportunity for fans who missed the initial release. But for those who had already secured one, they were holding a piece of history, the first piece of merchandise to outsell the biggest names in the sport. The sold-out shirt sparked a firestorm on social media. Fans were divided. Some were thrilled that Alexandra's merchandise had sold out so quickly. "This is proof of the Eala effect," one fan wrote. "She is the biggest draw in tennis. Not Alcaraz. Not Sinner. Alexandra Eala." Another fan posted, "I've been waiting for this moment. I bought my shirt the second it went live. I knew it would sell out." Others expressed frustration that they had missed out. "I was literally on the website at 9 a.m. and it was already gone," one fan wrote. "Please restock. I need this shirt." Another fan posted, "Nike needs to make more. The demand is clearly there. Why would they limit the supply?" But the reaction wasn't all positive. Some fans criticized the shirt's design, calling it low effort and comparing it unfavorably to Nike's earlier Alexandra merchandise in the Philippines. Earlier designs had incorporated the sampaguita, the national flower of the Philippines, in a more distinctive way. One fan wrote, "The design is so basic. It's just a black shirt with her name on it. Nike could have done so much more." Another posted, "Nike really dropped the ball on this design. The shirt is selling because of Alex, not because of the design." Sportskeeda highlighted these criticisms, with some fans describing the shirt as low effort. Similar criticism appeared among tennis fans discussing the release online. Some compared the new US shirt unfavorably with Nike's earlier Alexandra merchandise in the Philippines, particularly designs built around the sampaguita. But the criticism didn't seem to hurt sales. In fact, it may have helped. The controversy only added to the buzz surrounding the release, and the demand remained sky-high. To understand why some fans were disappointed with the new design, you have to understand Nike's history with Alexandra. The company had previously created much more distinctive merchandise for her, incorporating Filipino culture in a deeply personal way. At Wimbledon, Nike honored Alexandra with a specialized sampaguita blossom-inspired hair tie. The sampaguita is the national flower of the Philippines, a symbol of purity, simplicity, and strength. She also wore a visor with the Filipino phrase, "Kapag lumago, hindi nahihinto." Once it grows, it will not stop, embroidered on the back. Every detail was a celebration of her heritage, a reminder that she was not just playing for herself, but for an entire nation. Alexandra explained during Wimbledon that wearing details connected to her heritage was deeply personal. "It's so sentimental to be able to wear things that carry parts of my culture," she said, according to Reuters. She added that representing the Philippines on tennis's biggest stages meant so much to her. Even more impressive was the Nike Bayou shirt created with Filipino artist Georgina Camus, which incorporated the national flower into its design. That shirt was a true collaboration, a celebration of Filipino culture and Alexandra's heritage. The new US shirt, by contrast, was described as a more restrained, standard-fit cotton tee with printed graphics. Some fans felt it didn't capture the same spirit, but others argued that the shirt was simply a starting point, a sign that Nike was finally investing in Alexandra's brand in a serious way. and the fact that it sold out so quickly proved that the demand was there. The shirt wasn't the only Nike release for Alexandra ahead of the US Open. She also modeled a royal blue Nike Court Slam tennis dress for the New York Swing. The dress, priced at $140 in the United States, featured blue and white colorways like the Philippine national teams in basketball, football, and volleyball. It was a tribute to her country, a reminder that she carries the hopes of a nation on her shoulders. The official uniforms also featured the phrases Kung May Itananim, May Anahin, as you sow, so shall you reap, and Kapag Lumago, Hindi Nahihinto, never stop flourishing. These phrases, embroidered into the kit, were a powerful symbol of Alexandra's journey, a journey of hard work, resilience, and unwavering belief. Alexandra's kit for the US Open was designed to make a statement. It was a celebration of her heritage, her country, and her rise. And it was another sign that Nike was fully committed to her as one of their global brand ambassadors. With her growing popularity and the success of her merchandise, Nike had every reason to invest in her future. The US Open was the biggest stage of all, and Alexandra was ready to shine. The comparison between Alexandra's sold-out shirt and the availability of Alcaraz and Sinner's merchandise was a moment of shock for the tennis world. Carlos Alcaraz, the two-time Grand Slam champion, had been one of the most marketable athletes in tennis. Jannik Sinner, the Australian Open champion, was the current world number one. Both had massive fan bases, both were global icons, and both were supposed to be the future of the sport. Yet their merchandise remained available on Nike's website. It was a stark reminder that the traditional power structure of tennis was shifting. Alcaraz and Sinner were still great players. They were still global stars. But Alexandra was something different. She represented a new market, the Philippines, Southeast Asia, and a massive diaspora spread across the world. She represented a new generation of fans who were hungry for representation, hungry for success, hungry for validation. And they were willing to spend their money to show it. The sold-out shirt was a signal to the tennis world. Alexandra was not just another player. She was a phenomenon. She had the ability to move merchandise, sell tickets, and inspire millions. And that made her one of the most valuable athletes in the world. As the Eala effect continued to grow, the tennis world would have to take notice. The old order was changing, and Alexandra was leading the charge. The sold-out shirt was the latest example of Alexandra's incredible marketability. According to industry estimates, she was now targeting approximately $10 million per year in sponsorship income. She had already secured deals with major global brands including Nike, Babolat, Globe Telecom, Bank of the Philippine Islands, Milo Philippines, Locally Juice, and most recently, Marriott Bonvoy. Her commercial stock was rising as fast as her ranking. The comparison to Emma Raducanu was inevitable. After her US Open win in 2021, Raducanu had secured a host of sponsorship deals, with her appeal across several markets adding to her value. But Alexandra had the potential to surpass even that. Her appeal to companies in the Philippines was huge, and her fan base extended well beyond her homeland. She had the potential to become one of the highest-earning female athletes in the world. Coco Gauff earns an estimated $23 million annually from off-court endorsements. Alexandra could eventually reach that level, especially if she continued her success on the court. The sold-out shirt was a clear sign of her commercial appeal. It was proof that she was not just a tennis player. She was a brand. She was a movement. And she was a force to be reckoned with in the world of sports marketing. The timing of the Nike shirt release was no accident. The US Open, the final Grand Slam of the year, was just days away. Alexandra's popularity was at an all-time high. She had just won her first WTA title in Washington and reached the fourth round of Wimbledon. She was the hottest player in tennis, and Nike knew exactly what they were doing. The release was designed to capitalize on the Eala effect, and it worked perfectly. The shirt sold out within minutes, generating massive buzz and excitement ahead of the US Open. It was a marketing masterstroke, a way to build momentum, engage fans, and solidify Alexandra's status as one of the biggest stars in the sport. The shirt's immediate sellout was also a testament to the dedication of Alexandra's fans. The Filipino community had shown time and again that they would support their hero. They had filled stadiums, waved flags, and created an atmosphere that even the most experienced players found overwhelming. Now, They were buying her merchandise in record numbers. It was a sign of their unwavering loyalty, and a sign that the Eala effect was not going away anytime soon. The sold-out shirt was a victory for Alexandra's fans as much as it was for her. They had shown up in record numbers to support her at every stop of her journey. In Toronto, they sold out stadiums. In Cincinnati, tickets for her matches vanished in hours. And now, they had bought out her merchandise within minutes. It was a testament to their loyalty, their passion, and their belief in their hero. Alexandra had always spoken about her gratitude for the Filipino community. It is incredible to have my countrymen cheering me on, knowing that we are all in this together, she said after her Wimbledon victory. The fans had responded in kind. They had turned every match into a celebration of Filipino pride. They had made her feel like a champion even in defeat. And they had made her merchandise a sellout success. The Eala effect was not just about Alexandra. It was about the community that had rallied around her. It was about the millions of Filipinos who saw themselves in her journey. It was about the belief that no dream is too big, no obstacle too great, no challenge too difficult to overcome. And it was about the power of representation, the power of seeing someone like you on the world stage, achieving greatness, and inspiring you to dream bigger. The contrast between Alexandra's sold-out shirt and the availability of her competitors' merchandise was stark. Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, and Aryna Sabalenka, three of the biggest names in tennis, all had merchandise available on Nike's website. Their shirts remained on shelves, waiting for buyers. Alexandra's was gone within minutes. It was a moment of shock for the tennis world. How could a player who had never won a Grand Slam outsell the world's top players? The answer was simple. Alexandra had something that Alcaraz, Sinner, and Sabalenka didn't have: a passionate, global fan base that was hungry for representation. She represented a nation of 115 million people, a massive diaspora spread across the world, and a new generation of fans from Southeast Asia. And they were willing to spend their money to show their support. The contrast was a sign of the shifting landscape of tennis. The sport was becoming more global, more diverse, and more accessible. Alexandra was at the forefront of that change. And the sold-out shirt was proof that she was not just a tennis player. She was a phenomenon. The sold-out shirt was a major milestone for Alexandra, but it was just the beginning. She was set to compete in the US Open, the final Grand Slam of the year. She was projected to be a top 18 seed in the women's singles draw. She was also set to compete in the mixed doubles alongside Canadian star Felix Auger-Aliassime. The US Open was the biggest stage of all. It was the tournament where champions were made. It was the tournament where legends were born. And Alexandra was ready. She had said, "I focus only on my level of play. The ultimate goal is to win." With the support of Nike, the love of a nation, and the momentum of her sold-out shirt, she was poised to make history once again. But the future was about more than just tennis. Alexandra had the potential to become one of the highest-earning female athletes in the world. Her commercial appeal was undeniable. She had the talent, the personality, and the global fan base to become a marketing powerhouse. The sold-out shirt was just the beginning. The sold-out shirt was more than just a piece of merchandise. It was a symbol of everything Alexandra had achieved and everything she had the potential to achieve. It was a recognition of her talent, her hard work, and her global appeal. It was a testament to the power of the Eala effect. Alexandra's journey from the cracked courts of Quezon City to the bright lights of Arthur Ashe Stadium had been nothing short of miraculous. She had overcome challenges that would have broken lesser players. She had faced injuries, setbacks, and doubts. She had remained humble, grounded, and grateful. And she had inspired millions of Filipinos around the world to dream big. The sold-out shirt was a reflection of that journey. It was a recognition that Alexandra was not just a tennis player. She was a movement, a symbol of hope, a reminder that no dream is too big, no obstacle too great, no challenge too difficult to overcome. The tennis world was watching. The fans were believing. And Alexandra Eala was just getting started. The numbers don't lie. Alexandra's sold-out shirt was just the latest example of the Eala effect. According to industry estimates, she was now targeting approximately $10 million per year in sponsorship income. Her matches consistently sold out stadiums. Her social media following had exploded. Her merchandise was flying off the shelves. The Eala effect was real. It was powerful. And it was here to stay. Alexandra had become one of the most marketable athletes in the world, and the sold-out shirt was proof of that. She had outsold the merchandise of Alcaraz, Sinner, and Sabalenka, three of the biggest names in tennis. It was a signal to the world that the old order was changing. Alexandra was leading the charge. Alexandra's appeal extended far beyond the Philippines. She represented a new generation of athletes from Southeast Asia, a region that had been overlooked on the world stage. She represented a new market for tennis, a region that was hungry for champions. And she represented a new era of diversity and inclusion in the sport. The sold-out shirt was a sign of her global appeal. Fans from the Philippines, the United States, Canada, Europe, and the Middle East had all bought her merchandise. They had shown that Alexandra's appeal was not limited to one country. She was a global superstar, and the world was taking notice. The sold-out shirt was a moment of history. It was a sign that the tennis world was changing. It was a sign that the sport was becoming more global, more diverse, and more inclusive. It was a sign that players from countries that had never had tennis stars before were finally getting the recognition they deserved. Alexandra Eala was at the forefront of that change. She was a trailblazer for the Philippines. She was a role model for young athletes around the world. She was a symbol of hope and resilience. And she was just getting started. The sold-out shirt was just the beginning. The US Open was waiting, and Alexandra was ready to write the next chapter of her incredible story.